Well, hello everyone. Just turn my sound up. Give me half a second. I'm just getting everything set up. Hello, Maria. Okay, so quick sound check before we get started, Maria. You've said hello. Can you just let me know that you can hear me okay? I think everyone else is still logging in. Just a quick hello, you can hear me. Always got to wait for this wonderful little delay. So hoping the sound's okay. All my settings are on. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, thank you all so much for being on the webinar tonight. We're on the Broke to BMW webinar up to month 11. So we're getting to the pointy end of this series now, and I do hope that it's been of value to you. Sorry for jumping on a little bit late. I literally just finished a photo shoot 3 minutes ago. So I look very, very gorgeous actually. I could have left the camera on tonight. All my makeup and hair's been done. But anyway, we'll continue with the webinar in the same format we've been doing for the last, oh my gosh, 11 months. All right, so as everyone else is logging in, I'll let you do that and you can catch up. Let's start on time. So we're going to get stuck into it. What we're going to be covering tonight is, as I talked about in the book, it's about sustaining energy, because sometimes when you're so close to finishing something, you find that you actually need that last bit of burst of energy to push you through. Sometimes you're so close to making things happen that it can appear like you're actually the same position in the same place you were maybe 10 months ago, but in fact you're not. You've actually come a long way, but it can look like you've actually achieved nothing. So we do need that extra bit of energy now to push ourselves through those last few months. I know that I certainly did. So I'm going to talk about that. We're going to be touching on the journey so far and some mindset issues and strategies that you may have tried or you may have been taught but not actually implemented yet. Because again, knowledge is only great if you use it and do something with it. So we're going to be covering that. Your why, of course, I'm still talking about that because that's a thing that has enabled you to still be on this webinar. So the ones that are still on it, it's because of your why. And as you know, some of you may know, and some of you were here for the first month that we ran this webinar, we had nearly 300 people on the webinar. And I think tonight there's about 19 people who've registered. So that's what, 8%? And that is exactly the same statistic in life, that there's about 8 to 10, 15% around there of people who say they're going to do something that actually do it. So this webinar and the statistics on the webinar are pretty much exactly the same. So feel free to use the chat box. I've enabled it. Feel free to use the chat box to type any questions you may have. If you have an aha moment, if you have a realization, if you want to fess up when I'm talking about something and you've realized that you've been saying you're going to do it and you want to be held accountable to the group and to me for something that I might talk about, use the chat box to do that. This is a closed environment, only people on this webinar, and as I said, there's only those sort of 8% that are still left on the webinar. Please use it for that, so that, you know, make this as interactive as you need to. And for the ones that are on tonight, there's actually a couple of new people, so I'd like to welcome you, because I sold my book recently and some people asked if they could be on the webinar, so they're actually joined us live tonight. So welcome to you. Welcome to the ride of a lifetime. That's what we're calling it. And it's all about really just staying on the bus and hanging on for the ride, because it's like everything in life, once you know how to do it, it becomes easy. So I hope by me sharing the information, it's going to make your journey a little bit smoother. So we're going to be talking about the highs and lows that come up with every journey in life, but certainly this one, mindset and also a couple of home play things that I'm setting for you. So home play is getting less and less as we've gotten on with this journey. So as you remember, the guys that have been on this since the start, home play at the start, there were quite a few things that you had to do. Now, I'm not holding you accountable. I'm not obviously ringing you up and saying, have you done it? Have you done it? But you will know if the things that we talked about way back when, if you've done them or not, or if they're still sitting on your Broke to BMW in your book, in the notes section. If you've bought the book, you've got your notes section and you may have written things down that you wanted to do from the webinar. It's up to you if you do them or not, because ultimately I can only share my information and my experience, but it's the action of you doing the things that I'm suggesting is what is going to give the result, and certainly what gave me my result. So only you will know if that's happening for you. So feel free to use the chat box if you do want to ask questions, and we're going to make tonight a bit more interactive than other nights. I do apologize in advance for my voice if it does go in and out. I'm just getting off over the back end of a virus, so it's been pretty good. In the photo shoot, obviously I didn't have to do a lot of talking, just a lot of smiling, so I've been saving it for the last few hours, and hopefully I'll make it through without coughing and spluttering, and hope everyone survived the recent weather that we had. All right, so just a really quick disclaimer for those that have been on the webinar from the start, you know, and for new people, it's literally me just sharing my expertise and the things that I physically did to go broke to BMW. Of course, for each person, based on what you do and how you do it, the experience will be different. So I just want to encourage you to take what you can from the webinar. Please share with me things that are working or not working. Maybe it's just a minor tweak here or there that I can do for you, but ultimately it's what you do with the information, and everybody will have their own result. So I want to talk tonight, and this is something that I'm feeling in the energy at the moment with some clients as well, and just some other mentors I've been talking to. This is a bit of a common trend at the moment, so I just want to run through it. Sometimes when we are in business and we're on this entrepreneurial journey, and really this does not matter at all whether you are a startup business that hasn't even done anything yet, or you are someone that has an existing business. It really doesn't matter, but it's all about trying to feel lighter. And one thing that entrepreneurs, and I'm guilty of this as well, sometimes what we do is we weigh ourselves down with all the things that we need to do in our business, that we literally feel like we're carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. And I don't know about you, but if you've ever tried to jump high when you're standing on the ground with, 10 sacks of potatoes on your back, you're not going to get very far. And the weight of that doesn't make you think clearly. It doesn't make you act professionally. It doesn't make you come up with ideas that are going to benefit your business. It cripples you, literally. And an entrepreneur that feels that weight of all of these things and all these problems can't think clearly. So sometimes we do need to stop and reflect. Sometimes we do need to just take check of where we're at and stop and look at how far we've come. And I have talked about this on and off across the journey that we've been on, because then you're right, Maria, it does sometimes feel very overwhelming, because we actually, the flood of emotion will come up with the weight of the pressure that we're feeling. And it's so important to have the right people around you to help you through this. But even if you don't at the moment, you can't afford a mentor, or you don't have a good network or a team or a buddy, hopefully you all have a buddy, because in this program we definitely encourage each of you to have a buddy. So those that don't have a buddy, always feel free to ask in the Broke to BMW closed group for a buddy, because there's still people out there that are looking for one, because you do need to share it. But look at how far you've come. Actually stop and take check of, well, for those that have been on this journey from the start, go back to the start. Actually go through your notes, look at your diary, and actually look at exactly where your business was then. And for some of you who I know on this journey, you didn't even have a business yet. It was literally a pipe dream. And now if you look at, well, actually now you're at the point where you've got a business, you may be just getting it off the ground, but you've got something, or you've got ideas, or you've registered a trademark, or you've registered a website, whatever it is you've done, actually take count of that, take stock of that, and say, well, hang on, 11 months ago, this is where I was at. And today, as I sit here on the 23rd of February 2015, these are all the things I've done towards it. And for those of you that do have a business, look at where your business was this time 11 months ago, and now look at where it is. Because if you actually look at what you've achieved, you will start to feel a bit lighter. We will never, ever tick everything off our to-do list. If we do, that's probably the day that we're going to exit the planet, because there's nothing left to do. There's always going to be something to do in a business, because entrepreneurs, we all have ideas. And what about this idea? What if I run a retreat? Or what if I want to put this course together? That's the whole idea of being on this amazing journey. And it is amazing. It's not something to fear, and it's not something to be scared of, or let it worry you, or bother you, or make you feel depressed. Because to be honest, that's why a lot of you don't work in corporate jobs or jobs anymore, because you felt like that. So in your own business, don't let the same feelings come with you. Leave them there. That's what you feel when you're employed by someone and you don't really like to do, with terms and conditions around it. The idea of being an entrepreneur is to feel lighter. It comes with scared cat kind of feeling, definitely. And, you know, your hair will stand on end at sometimes when you think about what's possible for you, or you think about what you may have to do to get yourself out of your comfort zone, and you think about all the things you have to do in business you have no clue about. Definitely, your hair is going to stand on end. However, it's still supposed to be, and is, a better feeling doing this because you're doing it based off why you love to do what you do, than it is to sit working for a job, hating what you do 9 to 5 every day of the week, every day of the month, every day of the year for 30, 40, 50 years. So please take stock of how far you've come and start to make yourself feel a bit lighter. Whilst you're not where you want to be just yet, none of us are. If we were, again, we'd be 6 foot under in a box. So enjoy the journey. But the other thing I want to talk about is, are you moving forward, or are you stuck, or are you living in the past? Now, this is another way that we can also start to feel lighter, is by understanding, by taking stock of where we've come from and how far we have come to get to this point. What we need to do is look at the fact that we are still moving forward. And I'm not going to name and shame, but there is somebody on the webinar tonight that I had this conversation with today, and they're not where they want to be. There are things that haven't been ticked off their to-do list that they thought would already have happened. However, you are still moving forward, I promise you, because right now at 7:15, you are further along than you were last night at 7:15, even though it hasn't, and I won't say what it is because it'll give it away, but even though the thing hasn't come to fruition yet, you are still further along than you were yesterday. So you're still moving forward. Okay, so for people that are still moving forward, even if it be at snail's pace, it doesn't matter, as long as you are still moving forward. For those of you that are feeling stuck, like a stick in the mud, you can't move forward, you can't move back, you're literally buried deep up to your armpits, potentially in mud, I want you to also have a think about what you can do to become unstuck. Now, if you honestly, again, ask yourself the question, and if you want to share it in the chat, share something that you could have done today to free yourself from the mud. Is there something on your to-do list that maybe you're looking at right now? Excuse me while I take a sip of water. Is there something on your to-do list right now that you can look at that would have helped you move forward and not feel as stuck as you feel right this moment? Only you will know the answer to that. There could have been one phone call you could have made. You may have need to reach out to someone and ask for help. You may have need to ask for an extension for a payment that you have due on your car or your mortgage or anything. Could there have been something you could have done today that you can now do either tonight or tomorrow that will help you feel a little less stuck? There is nothing worse, and trust me when I say this, guys, I have been where you are. I have so been there. And I don't know each one of your individual situations financially and emotionally and in your relationships. Of course I don't. But I'm just saying that if you're on this webinar, you're obviously connecting with something that I've done and you're looking for some kind of answer to move forward and feel less stuck. So I can promise you, I have felt that way. And I used to sit up late at night looking at my bills going, okay, what can I do with this one? And I'd look at, say, the Telstra bill, and I'd say, okay, do we really need Foxtel? No, we don't. Cancel it. Do we need this? No, we don't. How do we reduce this? I had a loan. Okay, what do? I go and talk to the bank, and I'm going to ask them tomorrow, how can they restructure this loan so that it works out cheaper payments for me? Or can they do anything to, if there were overdue fees because of the months that I couldn't physically pay it, if I went in, would they negotiate? Yes, they did. And it made me feel less stuck, because knowledge is power. And I want you to write that down. If you're taking notes, which I really hope you are, because otherwise I'm spending an hour of my time for you to sit there and just hear my croaky voice. It's not a 0055 call, even though my husband says that I could make lots of extra money at the moment with this voice. It's really a place for you to take notes. So I want you to write down, knowledge is power. Because when you know your situation, when you know exactly how many accounts you have, what money you've got coming in and what money you've got going out, and you can control that situation, it gives you confidence. It makes you feel less stuck, because you are now in the control seat. You're in the power seat. And it doesn't mean that every phone call, every email, or everything you put out there is going to be, yeah, sure, we'll just waive that for you, or yeah, we'll let you go this month. No, of course not. If you've committed to contracts and payments, sometimes you need to honour that. And I'm going to talk about this later on, because this has been coming up for me a bit in the last couple of weeks. And I want to just talk about the mindset behind it, of what happens to you when this happens. So it's a double-edged sword, I guess. You do need to ask the questions where possible, but remember, if the answer comes back no, there's also a reason for that, and I'll take you through that in just a minute. Thanks, Maria. Knowledge is power. And the other thing that we need to do is, if you're living in the past, now let's all try and think of somebody, and hopefully it's not you. I won't get you to name and shame yourself, but let's all think of somebody we know, some friend. It could have been a childhood friend. It could be your next door neighbour. It could be your auntie. It could be your sister. It could even be your mother, and it could even be you. But let's all think of someone right now that every time you talk to them, they live in the past. Their mindset is yesterday. It's last minute. It's 10 minutes ago. It's last year. It's the mindset of, oh, if only I had done this. And I'm trying to put on the best whingy voice that I can. If only I had done this 2 years ago, I wouldn't be in this position right now. We all know someone like that, don't we? Whinging Susie. There's no Susies on the call. Let me just check. No, I'm good. I can say whinging Susie. We all know a whinging Susie. We all know someone who will complain about what they could have done and should have done, but yet they consistently complain about the past. They're stuck in the mindset of yesterday. They will consistently look backwards and do nothing about changing this moment. And you guys, some of you have been on my other webinar that I run about the top 5 ways to find your purpose in life, and I talk about living in the moment, and I talk about every moment that passes us by is a moment that we have a chance to choose a new thought. Because every moment right now, as I'm speaking, you have a chance now to choose a new thought. You have a chance now to make a new to-do list with the things that you could have done today, and possibly, I won't say should, but I will say should, because, you know, I don't like to dictate, but there are some things that you should have done today, and you and I both know it. There are some calls you should have made and you could have made. So you still can make them. So you can tear off your to-do list of the things you didn't do and write a new one, because guess what? When we wake up tomorrow, it's a new day. It's a new day with new opportunities and new things that you can do. We can all choose that. To lighten the load, the fastest way I have ever been able to do it is to share and collaborate. It's one of the reasons that Y Network, I believe, is growing so quickly at the moment, is because members are able to collaborate and get together with other people facing similar challenges and share and brainstorm. So some of you are part of Y Network, some of you aren't. The ones that aren't, find somewhere, find a group, go through this group in the Facebook group and find people. Otherwise, find some friends, find some business people, find some colleagues in the office, find some people if you're in direct selling, find some people in your team or some other team, but share, 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 share. The fastest way to get ideas is to share your problem and get suggestions from other people on what to do. I'm part of a few amazing groups on Facebook, which are more closed in and a bit tighter knit, and quality business owners in there. And some of them I've been invited into, and they're invitation only, and others, you know, they're just some really good groups out there on Facebook. And Queensland Business, if you're in Brisbane, I know there's people all over the place on this webinar, but if you are in Brisbane, Queensland Business is a fantastic business group. And I would suggest that you look at joining it and asking the questions that you would like to ask, because again, asking the questions and saying, hey, I'm looking at doing this, who else has done it, what do you suggest? People are always willing to share. I haven't found, I did find it last year, but I'm finding this year for some reason, energetically, for those that are into it, there's a lot of energy shifts that have happened in the last couple of weeks. We've had Mercury retrograde, we've got, you know, all things going on. You can tune into that if you're interested in finding more. But I've found that this year people have been more open and willing to share, and Maria might be able to guide us a bit more on this after in the group, but people have been more willing to share the information that they've learned to help other people. There's a lot more of a giving energy this year, I'm finding, and I'm hoping you're finding that as well. And if you're not finding it, it could be quite possible you're not finding it because maybe you're not asking. So, you know, my good girlfriends know when I have a problem, they know about it, because I'm not going to be the martyr and the be all and end all to everyone's problems. I'm going to say I'm having a tough time with whatever it is that's going on in my life, be it personal or business. What do you suggest? Or even sometimes just having them there to share is great, because I can just get it off my chest. And sometimes, you know, we all have our own answers, but hearing it out loud and just having people listen that don't even give advice is a great thing. So please make sure you're asking and sharing with people, because that will help you get your solution faster. And the affirmation, when I was doing this today, I just felt some of you may need, and I'd love you to message me privately even or publicly in the chat and just tell me if this affirmation was meant for you. But I just feel you needed to hear that I am where I need to be. And I think it was a very powerful affirmation I used to use as well, but there's someone on here tonight that needed that. And you just need to say to yourself, I am where I need to be. And you can add at the end, you know, at this moment in time if you want to, but I just felt the affirmation needed to be quite succinct. I am where I need to be. So I'm hoping that's for one of you. You get what you give. This is what I was just talking about a few minutes ago, that it's a double-edged sword, because sometimes, yes, we do need to go negotiate, we do need to barter, we do need to say, can I get a deal on this, can I pay you later? We do, absolutely. One thing I want you to know is I had a client, and of course I'm not going to tell you names and situations, but let's call her Mary Jane, because I don't work with anyone that's called Mary Jane. A lovely name. But let's call her Mary Jane. So Mary Jane, I did a session, a 3-hour session with recently. I won't tell you when. And one of the things she said was, Shah, I'm really frustrated because, so I have a 10-minute discovery call with clients, potential clients, just because I know that I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and I will not take on every client. Gone are the days where if you had a heartbeat, I'd mentor you. I don't do that anymore because I've grown wiser, and I'm also very select with working with the right people who I know are willing to get out of their comfort zone and do something, because I don't want to waste. It's not about money for me anymore. It's about quality sessions, because I want to work with people that if I'm going to give 3 hours of my diary away, I want to make sure that I can absolutely help them, and they are willing and ready to do something with the knowledge I share. Because for me, a session isn't just, it doesn't finish when the 3 hours finishes. I then know so much about that client that I can't wait to watch the results happen, and they'll have questions. And I hate to think that I've spent 3 hours and poured my heart out with someone and then they do nothing with it. So I do these discovery calls, and in there I asked her what was her greatest challenge, and she said to me, I'm getting so frustrated because the clients I'm taking on board at the moment are always asking for a discount, a payment plan. I put them on a payment plan and then they're defaulting on me. And I said, okay. I said, that's interesting. So I asked her a few more questions, and I asked her some more business questions, and I asked her who her avatar was, and I asked her, had she experienced this before? And she said, oh yes, it's always been like this. And it was been going on like this for years. And I said, okay, this is really interesting. And it's taken her this long for it to be a big enough problem to then say, oh, okay, I need help with this. I need to fix this. So I said to her, look, how would she like to move forward? You know, I talked to her about my session and what was possible. And she said, oh, no, I'd love to go ahead. I said, okay, great. I said, okay, so let's look at the diary and get it in. So looked at my diary and I told her how many weeks ahead it was. And we had this conversation. And then the next thing that came out of her mouth was, Shah, is it possible we could barter the session? That was the first question. The second question was, could I pay you on a payment plan? And if so, can I just pay this amount now and then this amount, etc.? She already kind of had it in her mind. And I was starting to get the alarm bells, but I was also starting, which I'm sure you're starting to see the picture now, that everything she was complaining about within her business that her clients were doing to her, she was doing to me. Now, that's why the heading of this slide is you get what you give. Now, I'm not saying that this is always the case, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't ask for deals and you shouldn't look at a way to barter. I've bartered, Maria and I have bartered our sessions 4 odd years ago. Definitely, I'm not saying don't do it. All I'm saying is if you are consistently getting your clients treating you in a certain way and it's been going on for a very long time, I want you to stop and look at your own business and your own life and look at the way that you are dealing with your suppliers, your mentors, if you've got them. How are you dealing with them? Because everything you're doing, if it's happening to you in your business and it's showing up a lot, it's because you are doing it to other people. Okay, now this is a I'm saying with this with all the warnings and precautions, because I do not want you to stop asking for those things at all, because you all know I'm Indian. I'm going to barter my bananas at the market every day of the week and twice on Sunday. So I'm not saying don't do it. All I'm saying is if there are patterns showing up in your business, I'm just reading some couple of private messages that are a bit funny. Sorry, a little bit distracted. Thank you. I love the messages when they come through because it makes me realize I'm not sitting in my office just talking to my 2-meter tall Kuntedi and my computer screen. So I do love to know that you're still all out there. Thanks for the messages. Sorry, private joke I won't share. Okay, so just ask yourself the question, if it's coming up in your business repeatedly, what are you also doing? What are you putting out there as an energy that's allowing that to come back into your life? Because you get what you give. So everything, guys, everything is an energy. Everything is an energy. And if you put out positive energy, abundant energy, even if you have 20 cents left in your account today, right this moment, I want you to still think like you are an abundant entrepreneur. And I'm not going to say financially abundant, because to be honest, money is not my driver. And those of you who know me well, and those of my friends who know me well, you know that money, I don't give a rat's about money. I love money. I welcome it into my life, to my heart, to my home, to my bank accounts, to my wallets, to my shoes. I welcome money, definitely, but it's not my driver. So it's an energy, and I welcome it. But what I would rather you welcome is abundance into your life, because I can promise you, you can have all the money in the world. You look at most of the celebrities out there, they are miserably happy. I know so many wealthy people and their marriages are falling apart. They have all the money in the world. They have the boat, they have the beautiful house, they have the holidays, they have the perfect life on the outside, but inside they're crumbling. They're not happy. So don't just look for abundance in physical paper form. Whilst money will help you with your business and your lifestyle, definitely, of course it will. And it's always better to have it. I still definitely, I'm not going to say I don't want it. I welcome abundance into my life, but I welcome it in all forms. I welcome it in the forms of abundant friendships, that my cup filleth over. You know, my gorgeous girlfriend today, I was supposed to do some work with her, and she knew that I hadn't been well, and she knew I had a lot of backlog, and she gave me an out, and I welcome that, because it's a two-way street, and you've got to welcome everything that comes into your life. You've got to welcome the good food, the neighbors that lend you cups of sugar, and abundance comes in all forms. So everything is an energy. So whilst your bank account may not appear full at the moment, look at the rest of your life, look at other areas, look at healthy families, look at, you know, the fact that you can cook a good meal every day, that you know, you've got a nice car to drive, or look at the other things in your life that you're grateful for, because that energy will then make sure that your whole life is abundant. And one of those forms will be money, but it's not the be all and end all, I promise you. I love you too, Miss M. Okay, so I want you to think about the big picture. Now, again, I remember how hard this was when I was going on my journey, and it was really difficult, but I had to keep thinking of the big picture. I had to keep thinking, hang on, this is temporary. There's no way this period is going to last my whole lifetime. This is a temporary time in my life. So I want you to think the big picture. I want you to think forward. Must do this like you, to have a vision that's so amazing, so positive, so inspiring, so uplifting. Your perfect life, if you could dream it, is there waiting, and you're living. I want that. It could be next week, it could be 6 months away. I don't know what time it is for you. So I'll share mine. My big picture thinking is, for me, it's when I cut the ribbon for the orphanage, and there's a whole group of us wearing the orphanage printed shirts, and we've got, you know, comfortable, beautiful casual clothing on, comfortable shoes. We're ready to scoop the girls up as they arrive, and the bus pulls up, and the staff are bringing the girls into the orphanage, and all of us are there. And I know exactly in my life right now, I haven't met obviously future people, but I know in my life right now who will be standing with me at the orphanage, and that, you know, there'll be tears galore, and these girls will be scooping them up, giving them cuddles and love, and taking them into the orphanage and getting them settled into their bedroom. For me, that's the moment where I'm going to go, I've made it. And that's not about my money, that's about me giving back. and having the time and having my businesses set up to a place where they can run automatically, and they will be systemized, and I'm still making a difference with the work I do on a global scale, because I know that I'm meant to have I know I'm meant to impact people on a bigger scale, definitely, but that will be the moment for me that I know I've made it, and that's my big picture thinking. And I think forward to that moment when things are tough and I have bad days and bad times, or something I thought was going to go ahead doesn't go ahead, and I get a bit disheartened. That's the moment I go to, because that makes everything okay for me. So I really need you, that your belief in your own value is so, so important. The belief in your own value is so important. I have to say that again, because if you don't believe that you're worth something and worth more than what you're charging and what you're doing now, we've got problems. Because if you don't believe that, guys, who is going to? You have to believe that you are worth multi-millions, if not billions of dollars, because you are unique, you are special. And when you believe in that, and believe that the ideas you've got for your business and that you're doing in your business are what make you so invaluable. And I don't say this with any arrogance, and I think the guys that have been on this journey and know me well know I'm not an arrogant person. I'm as down to earth as you get. I keep everything really real. However, I know what I'm worth, and I know the value I give to others. I know when I stand, like I was in Sydney last week and there were 200 entrepreneurs in the room, and I don't say that to big note, I just say that to show the impact I had on the audience. I had a standing ovation of people who just got my message and saw that they were worth more than what they thought they were or what they'd been told they were. And I knew when I left that stage, excuse me, hang on. I knew when I left that stage and I had a queue of people lining up to buy the Broke to BMW book and my new book coming out, and the feedback and the comments I was getting from people, I knew that that was the difference I was here to make, and that made me feel invaluable. It made me feel like I belonged and I had a place, and that's the feeling I want all of you to have right now. You matter. You are the medicine to so many people out there. I played this incredible video for those coming and have been to Y Weekend before. I played this incredible video about, you know, how much you matter and how much you are the medicine to so many people out there waiting for you to give them your medicine. And that makes you invaluable, absolutely invaluable. So please, please, please believe your value. It's so important that you do. I want to cover here, and I've got some differences on the screen. So I want to talk about attitude. And everything in life, everything, absolutely everything comes back to our attitude. So a situation can happen. Okay, let's talk about the recent floods that have gone on. Sorry, not recent floods, the cyclone. Some people's attitudes on social media, and you would have seen this, have been negative and some have been positive. Now, I'm not saying that looking at a cyclone and people losing their houses and getting damage is a positive thing. I'm just talking about the way people respond to it. They go into the mode of, awesome, we're going to fix this. We're going to band together and we're going to make this work. And other people are, oh my God, I've lost something. Oh, this broke, this, that. This always happens to me. It's always that negative scarcity thinking. So I want to show you the difference. And this is a great chart that I found and borrowed from Google. And I want to talk about leaders with scarcity mindset. Their whole mindset is around resources that are constrained. they have this thinking that I'm going to win and you're going to lose. That's the way they live their life. It's like, I'm going to win this, you're going to lose. There's always a lack of trust. There's this, I can't trust anyone. So look, we've all been burnt. I've had my business partner literally take my whole business from me in the Middle East that I'd built up from nothing, and I pretty much walked away with nothing. And I built that thing from scratch, featured in all the top magazines. You know, I won't reminisce too much because it was a great lesson, and I learned some amazing things out of that experience, and I'm grateful for that now. Not then, but now. But I'm not going to let that lack of trust and that situation with one person, I'm not going to let that affect every relationship or potential partnership I ever go into in the future. I won't let that happen. So lack of trust can come from a scarcity mindset. Someone's taken from me, therefore I'm not going to trust anyone ever again because they might take from me again in the future. That will get you absolutely nowhere. That mindset is limiting you to what's possible out there for you, because you're not going to move forward because you're not trusting. You have all the answers is another scarcity thing, because when we say we've got all the answers and we're a bit of a know-it-all, we stop learning. We also stop collaborating. We stop asking questions. We stop asking for help. We stop sharing. If you're cost control, if you're looking at every cost now, again, yeah, okay, someone's asked if we can get it printed. What I'll do is I did borrow it from the internet, but I'll share it in the group page, definitely, and then you can pop it onto your wall. I'll share it after the presentation. So cost control. Now, again, we're not looking at, this one said with caution, we do need to look at our costs, definitely, and what we can control, but don't look at them to the point that, you know, every little cent is being questioned, because there are some costs that are legitimate. And when you pay bills, pay them with love, because if a bill has come to you, I can promise you this as well, if you've been sent a bill or an account, unexpected or expected, it doesn't matter, it means the universe knows you have the means to pay it. Because the golden lesson here is we only ever get sent what we can handle. I'll repeat that. We only ever get sent what we can handle. So if you've been sent a bill, unexpected or expected, it means the universe knows you have the capacity to find the money to pay it. And honouring your commitments is so important, because if you honour your commitments, your clients will honour theirs to you. It's an energy. Buying time and hours. So it's... I'll come back to that, actually. I need to go through the next one first. Scarcity mindset is also about expecting bad news. So when the phone rings or you get an email from someone, you're expecting them to give you bad news. That's scarcity. Okay, you're expecting them to say they're going to pull out of the contract, they're going to cancel the deal, they're going to cancel the appointment, they're not going ahead. You're expecting it, and you see their name and your heart sinks. That's a scarcity mindset. When you micromanage, if you have a team or you have virtual staff or anything and you micromanage every little thing that they do, it's also scarcity. You're controlling, and when you control, you can never grow. It's not to say that you don't need to know what's going on, but you don't micromanage. Excuse me a sec. And stress and frustration will come from a scarcity mindset. Okay, so buying time or hours, when you exchange someone's service and you are just buying their time and saying, okay, I'm going to pay you this and I want this in exchange, you've got a scarcity lack mindset. You're saying this time is worth, this 1 hour is worth this, I'm going to give you this, and that's it. That's the scarcity around it. So the other side of it, leaders or entrepreneurs with an abundant mindset prioritize better. Okay, they look at their day, they look at their life, they go, okay, this is how I'm going to get the best use out of the productive hours that I have in my day. So they prioritize better. rather than I'm going to win and you're going to lose. We're both going to win. We're both going to succeed. And that's something that, you know, often my clients will say to me, I love how I collaborate, but I take people with me on the journey. It's not about I'm winning and you're losing. It's not about that. It's like, let's do this together. I'm going to help you with the knowledge I've got, and let's step up together, because then we both succeed. And ultimately, that's what you want. You want everybody around you to be growing and moving forward with you. You're not ahead of them. You're doing it together. And instead of lack of trust, it's trust and relationships. You know, the fact that I put this webinar on, you know, some of you could be sharing it, some of you could be on selling it, some of you could be learning it and teaching it and charging for this knowledge that I'm giving for free. I don't care. I really don't care. If you have copied every slide, if you have written every note down, if you're using my sexy voice recording and playing it in a room full of people with 200 business owners and you're charging $500 a head for this, great, go for it. It doesn't bother me one iota, because I don't do this with a mindset of taking money from you. I would have liked everybody to have bought the book, and I know that someone on tonight has been on this journey for a while and she just got her book the other day, so I'm pretty happy about that. I would have loved you to have bought the book, only because there's other things in the book and it's also got places for you to write your notes down. So that's about the only thing I wanted you to buy from me. But, you know, apart from that, I really don't mind what you do with the information, because the information, the faster I pass it to you, guess what happens? The faster the universe will give me more knowledge to grow my business and my clients' businesses. So bring it on. And the other thing is that instead of me telling you I've got all the answers, because promise you, I so don't. I just know a little bit more for the things that I've done so far and can help you get there. So if you look at my life and go, okay, I want what she's having in this or this or this, then definitely engage my service and I'll help you get there. But I don't have all the answers. If I did, I'd have 20 orphanages open in Thailand already, and I'd be traveling the world speaking and filtering 50% of all my profits into my orphanages in Asia. So I don't have all the answers yet, but I certainly have done the things that I've done and can help other people. But imagine if we collaborate. Imagine if we did this together, what we could achieve. Investment with a return. So rather than cost controlling and looking at everything, what about if we invest our time with a return? So as I said, the only return that I really hope to get out of this series by doing this 12-month webinar and doing the input that I've had into the closed Facebook group along the last time and making sure you've all got buddies and those sorts of things, the only return I would like on that is to hear from you. And I've asked this for quite a few months, and I've actually only had probably 2 people do it. And I would love more of you to step up and actually do it and send me what you've achieved and what you've gotten out of it and if it's helped you. And even just a one-liner, I don't mind. But that's the return that I would like on my investment of time, is just to know that something has helped you. And if it's helped you, tell me what it was and how it helped you and what you've learned from it. It could be a mindset shift. It could be a physical shift. It could be a burst of income. It could have been a debt that you paid off with some of the strategies. I don't mind what it is. Instead of focusing on the costs of things, focus on the results, okay? Because the results are what are going to give you that momentum of moving forward. Results are what give you that. Instead of buying the time and hours, buy desired outcomes. And again, results. It's all about results. And knowledge is power if you do something with it. Instead of expecting the next phone call from your, let's say, a bank manager, the next phone call from a client, the next phone call from your web developer, the next phone call from a customer that you just joined yesterday, instead of expecting that it's going to be bad news, expect that they're going to ring you with incredible news. Your bank manager is going to call you and tell you that he's overcharged you and he's putting $10,000 back into your account. Your client that you just signed yesterday is not ringing to cancel. She's ringing to say, I've got 2 friends that I've told all about you and here's their credit card details and they want to book sessions and we'd all like to do it together. Expect that's going to happen, because I promise you, if you expect that, you watch what happens in your life. If you owe someone money, expect them to ring up and say, listen, we've actually been looking at our accounts and we've found that 4 years ago you overpaid us, so we've actually taken, you only owe us $20 now instead of $20,000. If you don't expect that stuff, it's never going to happen. And if you expect it, it's not that I'm not saying it's going to happen every time with every person, but I guarantee you, if you expect it's going to happen to you more times than it will if you don't expect it. That is an absolute given. Instead of micromanaging, have the stewardship, set your business to autopilot, set your systems up. Systems are king. You must always go into business with an exit strategy. Even though I have no plans, one iota, to ever sell Y Network, ever. And I've said that on here now, so it's going to be recorded and with me forever. But, and there's always a but, isn't there? Who knows one day what could happen? Who knows? There could be a much better opportunity that comes along from a business owner who buys Y Network because they can take the members to a whole nother place that I could never have done or thought about. They could add so much more value, which gives my members something that I believe they would deserve. Who knows what could happen? So set your business up with that kind of autopilot mentality and abundant mentality that you want the best for your business. And stress and frustration, the opposite to that is obviously confidence and success, and that comes from your mindset. So we've got a few questions coming through, but I'm going to have to just keep going for now because I've realised how much I've waffled and how much we've still got left to cover, but I'll cover it at the end if we get time. So your why, you know that I talk about this every month and nothing will ever change. As long as I have a heartbeat, I will be talking about living your purpose in life. And there are some people that I know are still in the same position they were 10, 11 months ago. And I just want to encourage you that if nothing changes, nothing changes. And if you've been considering coming to a Y weekend, or as you know, I've now got the course online. It's a condensed version. Of course, nothing beats coming live to an event. However, it's a great option for people who physically can't come to the Gold Coast or physically can't come on that date but want the result. You can jump onto Purpose Finder. If you want, actually, I'll put in the chat box here. There's a free checklist. So if anyone wants to actually just go through the top 10, let me just type it. Type and talk at the same time, apparently. Okay, so I've just put in the chat box there that's the link. So if you go to that link, you'll be able to download the top 10 questions that will help you ascertain your purpose in life. It'll give you an idea of it. So it's a great checklist that I've put together. And as soon as you pop your details in, that'll be sent to you. And if you're just ready to do the course, it's still at $147. It's going up to $197 on the 1st of March. But for the rest of February, it's only $147. It's a 6-week, fully automated online course with a video from me and activities that you have to do and questions, 10 questions every week delivered to your inbox. So it's really a no-brainer if you really want to find it and get that clarity, because nothing will shift until you get that clarity. I promise you that. That's one thing with the amount of clients I've worked with now, I know definitely nothing's going to shift until you get clarity around your purpose in life. And for those that just want to bite the bullet, we've got 4 places only left for the Y weekend down the Gold Coast, 14th and 15th of March. We've got 4 places left. So findmyy.com.au is the place that you can do that. It's an incredible weekend. Saturday is a pretty heavy day. We need to go back into our past and find all the breadcrumbs and patterns, and I take you through a whole day of processes, which is incredible. Everybody says to me that the Saturday was just life-changing. Saturday night we shake it all off and go for dinner, and then Sunday we get stuck into the business mentoring day, and that's where we really look at your business, your products, your avatar, your ideal clients, your marketing strategies, strategic partnerships, and we go through and put together business models. So you literally leave the weekend with tangible activities and strategies you can literally start working on straight away. chat to me after if you'd like more questions on that, or just want to see if it's the right thing for you. So month 11 is all of, and I've probably covered a fair bit of this already in the webinar, but it was all about sustaining my energy. And that's what I was saying at the start. When you're so close to achieving something, and again, so many of you that I know have been on this from the start, I've watched your journey. You are so far along, further than you think you are, actually, but it's just you haven't stopped to look back and see how far you actually have come. So we need that last little bit of push now. We need that last bit of energy. What I did was I had to recharge my batteries, and I ended up organising what we called the more mystery holidays, and I organised 3 of them. They were just mini holidays. Some of them, one of them was down the Gold Coast, and we had the theme parks passes, and I organised some inexpensive, not wonderful accommodation, but didn't matter. We were away from home, took the kids down, and we hit the theme parks for 3 days. Then we came back, had a day at home, washed our clothes, ended up in the city and explored the city by Rivercat and bus, and just got on and off the Rivercat and the buses wherever we liked, and went through parks and shops and just had a city holiday. And then we went up to Hervey Bay for a couple of days. So it was amazing because 3 different locations, 3 different energies, from the city to the Gold Coast to Hervey Bay, beaches, city, theme parks. It was incredible, and it shifted something in me, and it made me see different things in the different energies, and just different ideas were coming up. So I just want you to consider, what could you do? And it may not be overnight accommodation if you can't do that with kids or budget. What could you do in a day? What could you do that you dropped the kids off even and just went for the day and did something completely different? Go for a walk up at, I can't say locations because there's so many of you based in different places, but what could you do that's different? What mini rewards could you give yourself? Because as you know, what gets rewarded gets repeated. The other thing that I did at this month, I went back in and I sat in the car. And I talked to the guy that I ended up buying the car from, and I sat with him and I said, I'm really close now. I've only got a few bills left. I'm going to be coming in here in a few months to pay the deposit and buy this car. And he said, awesome. And I sat in it, and I kept the dream alive. And sometimes when you feel you're so far away from your dream, you stop dreaming. But can I tell you, that's the time that you should dream even more. That's the time that you may feel a bit crazy doing it, because you're like, seriously, I am so far away from getting this. What that is going on? So I would definitely suggest that that's the time you dream even more than before, because the more real you make it, our brain doesn't know what's real or not. And I've explained this in the past to some of you before. I've explained that there could be something under your desk right now, a big snake that's about to crawl up your leg right now, this second, and your brain will kick into gear. And some of you will even be looking under the table right now, or the couch, wherever you're sitting, looking for this snake, because your brain doesn't know what's real or not. So what if you could believe that that $1 million check was coming in the mail, or that client that you were really hoping for is literally emailing you as you speak? As you get off this webinar, there's an email from them saying they're going ahead with those 10 sessions or whatever it is that you sell and do. Okay, you have to keep that dream alive. And if it's something that you want, if it's a piece of jewelry, a holiday, a car, it doesn't matter what it is. I want you to picture it, and I want you to go smell it, touch it, feel it, make it as real as anything, because the more real you make it, the more possible it is to have. It also gave me time to create new ideas, and just the change of scenery, getting myself out of my office, going to those different places, going on the rides in the theme parks, sitting on the Rivercat up the front like Titanic with my arms out, with the hair, wind blowing through my hair and all that sexy stuff. It allowed me to see what was possible, and see Brisbane from the water, and see all those beautiful waterfront properties. And that's such a lovely day. And on the weekends, it's quite inexpensive to get a day pass. Get onto the ferry at one end of the river and spend all day going up and down, and just see your energy shift. And there's also magic in energy in the water, of course, but also help me to create more marketing strategies, because look, all my clients and friends know that I'm a creator. Like, I've got a business a second, I've got an idea a second, I can churn them out like no other. And when I changed my scenery, all these ideas flowed, and all of those ideas were the key things that then got me through that last pinch to pay that final amount of debt off. So it was absolutely critical to the journey. So when you think you're further away than you are, you're not. And do these things I'm suggesting, because they really do work. And just do it. As Nike says, like, honestly, the world is full of talkers. Well, that should say talkers, not takers. But mind you, it is also full of people who take. But it is supposed to say talkers. And there's lots of people out there who are noisy cans, and they talk. Then when you sit with them and say, but what have you done that you said you were going to do, and what have you done? All of a sudden there's a lot of silence. And there's some clients I have in my high level programs, and you know, and I know life gets in the way, of course, and sometimes it's physically not realistic to get it done, but I don't let them hide a lot, because if you're going to say it, do it. So what the world needs is more human beings that take action. So it's not always about doing, it's about being. Definitely, you've got to be the person that you need to be to make all of this happen, but you do need to take action. You can't sit at home cross-legged, you know, with the in the Om stance, sitting at your chair, hovering above your desk, and you know, lighting candles and all that sort of stuff. You have to actually do something, definitely. But we do need to be more of the person that we are meant to be. We do need to value our gifts. We do need to be the version of ourselves that we would want other people to see in us. If you were your best friend, what would you want them to do? If you were your best friend, what frustrations would you have around you for all the things you're not doing? Because you can always tell your best friend how amazing they are, and you'll tell your best friend that I wish you were doing this because you're so amazing at it. Why aren't you doing this? And you get frustrated with them. Be your best friend and write down a list of things that you wish your best friend was doing, and then start doing them. You know that you're enough to create your magic. You are. So just get out there and do it. Nike it for the next week. Just Nike it. Don't think about it. Just Nike it, honestly, and see what comes of it. Don't hold back. Don't be scared. Go back. I'll put that chart into the Broke to BMW group. So if anyone's new on the webinar and you haven't been added to the Broke to BMW webinar participants group, you must friend request me first. Otherwise, I can't add you. It won't let me. And then request to join the group, and I can add you in there. We were going to do a live Q&A, but of course, me being me, I've rattled on. So it's now just after 8 o'clock. So I'll answer questions in the group. And my tip for the month is, seriously, just do it. There isn't another tip that I can give you, because I'm not at the nice end of the webinar. That was 11 months ago. I was nice and, oh, let's just take our time and just getting the engine started, all that sort of stuff. We're way past that now, guys. You guys have been doing this for 11 months now, and there really isn't any more nice Shah anymore. It's time to just do it. Seriously, get out there and do it. Home play, just do it. Recharge your batteries if you're feeling a bit flat. I was forced to the other day because I came home and got the virus. I've been pushing myself, as I do. Like, I need my own advice, of course. Pushing myself a bit hard, as I do, but I love it. I'm still going to do it again, and I'll fall into a heap again in about 6 weeks' time, you'll see. But your buddy, some of you said you were going to tell me who your buddy was in the group, or email me. You haven't. So if you're going to do it and you tell me you're going to do it, please do it. And what's your worth? Again, some of you were going to send it to me and you didn't. So either send me a private message, send me an email at shah@shahmore.com.au. I'm so easy to find. Or put it in the Broke to BMW group, because that group is only for active participants. Everything in there, kind of what happens on the bus stays on the bus. So just know your worth, and stop hiding, and stop deflating yourself, and stop saying that you're not worth more than you are, because you are. Stop playing small. Stand tall, Poppy, and get out there and make it happen, because if not now, when? Seriously, if you don't have a copy of the book now, I will webinar virtually slap you. And I don't know that that's possible, but I'd find a way. Grab the book. Honestly, there's about 100 copies of this issue left because I've been selling them. I've got a few speaking gigs coming up, and then I might just keep it as an online through Amazon. Grab a copy of the book. $2.95 goes to our orphanage project. I should change that word from my orphanage because there's so many people that this is their orphanage as well now, so I'm going to change that to ours. Broke to BMW site is actually down at the moment. It's on my to-do list to fix. If you would like a copy, just message me in the group later and we'll fix it up and I'll post it out to you. All the different ways you can connect to me. There's seriously no way you can't find me. And any questions, I will jump over into the group now for a few minutes before I jump down for dinner. And if you've got any questions, and of course I always love feedback because webinars are great, and for those that run them, they're great, but you'd love to know what's going on and how people are feeling because I'm literally talking to myself. So please give me feedback as well and tell me what you got out of it, what was an aha, what you're going to do now, what are the things you may have been holding back on. Just give me feedback. Wow, our last webinar. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that I launched my book 12 months ago. That's gone so fast. And next month, I'm really excited to say that my new book, Your Life, Your Purpose, is coming out. So I'm really excited about that. But the last Broke to BMW webinar, the last time we'll be pulling the bus out of the garage and going for a drive, it's on the 30th of March. So I hope if you know some buddies who have fallen off the bus or got off along the way and you really think they might enjoy the last one, it's going to be a bumper one. Grab them back on and invite them onto the bus on the 30th of March. It'd be great to have them on there for the last one. And I'll be letting you guys know on the next webinar how you can stay connected to the community and what I'm launching next, because as you know, I've always got something coming up. So I'd love to have you guys, connect with me more on social media. Let me know what's going on. Let me know how I can help you. And just please, 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 please just do it. And please also, if you haven't really connected with your purpose in life and you're struggling, find a way, like do the online course, come to the Y weekend. We've got the 4 spots left. Please find it, because I can't stress enough. It's not to sell you a ticket to something or let you buy the course. It's not about that. It's about connecting with the real reason you're here. And I promise you, when you do that, if you're struggling right now, you may still not have clarity around it. And when you do, life becomes a breeze. Sometimes I pinch myself, like I can't announce what I just concluded today, but it's absolutely massive. And it's not something I chased or knew about or went after. It literally came to me because I'm living my purpose. And when you live your purpose, people find you and give you the opportunities and the stages that you need to share your message. It's incredible. So please find your purpose, go for it, and just really connect with who you are and why you're here. Thank you all so much. I apologize for the 0055 voice, but some of you have messaged me saying that it was a bit sexy. So I'm glad that I was able to help in that way. I will jump over into the Facebook group now for your feedback and chats, and look forward to seeing you, oh my gosh, for our last webinar, the 30th of March next month. Thank you all so much for chatting and being connected, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.